Back in another country, weighing a social media ban for kids. Denmark's prime minister is proposing to block children 15 and under from using social media. She points to rising rate of anxiety and depression among young users. Australia passed a similar law last year banning social media for anyone under 16. Meanwhile, TikTok and other platforms are pushing back, running ads that highlight their use as educational tools.
I kind of support that. I think it's a good
It's
idea.
a tricky place for kids.
What's going on, family and friends? Thank you for tuning in. This is My Thoughts Uncut. I'm your host, Terrence Manning. We're going to deep dive into Denmark proposing this 15 or younger ban for social media. And also, we're going to look at Austria, who's already implemented this. Let's take a look.
Denmark's government is pushing ahead to ban social media for children under the age of 15. Parents might like the plan. I'm one of them, but their kids may not. 80% of 15-year-olds in the European Union use social media daily. This according to the EU's Joint Research Center. And among 9 to 15-year-olds, social media use has doubled since 2010. Caroline Stage Olsen is the Danish Minister for Digital Affairs, and she joins me now. Thanks so much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
So I could practically hear parents cheering this. I'm one of them who struggles when my kids bury themselves in their phone, doom scrolling. My first question is, how do you enforce such a ban?
Well, the European Commission gave us the opportunity to make a national regulation on the matter here during the summer session. So this will be a national regulation, but it will be enforced through the European Commission, at least for the biggest social media companies, as it is through European regulation.
So, in effect, the social media companies cannot allow those 15 or younger to use it. I suppose my next concern is that teenagers are pretty resourceful. Perhaps they can get around this. Do they have to show?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So, how are you going to minimize kids from watching content on social media that's not age appropriate, especially if you have a ban for 15 or younger? I mean, kids nowadays are very resourceful. This is not like back in the day where, one lucky kid got a pornographic video on the VHS and was able to share it with friends. That's not going to circulate as fast as social media. It only takes one kid to just have their parent be okay with it, and they share their password and username, and they can just use it that way. So I'm curious to see what they say.
Show some sort of proof for their age?
Of course. Well, when you talk to the social media platforms today, they would state that they already have some kind of age verification, right? That nobody under the age of 13 are able to access the social media platforms. But for instance, in Denmark, when we look at the numbers, 48% of children below that hasn't turned 10 yet, they have a social media profile, and before they turn 13, the number is almost 100%. So we see that they are already slipping through.
Did you hear that? When they turn 10, it's like a high percentage, but when they turn 13, it's 100%. That's way, way too young, in my opinion, to be on social media and have your own username and your own platform where you can just scroll through pretty much anything you want nowadays. That's way too early. Hey, look, I already told my daughter she's not getting the phone until she's 16, and she's not going to have social media. So, look, maybe you guys judge me for that, but I don't care. I'd rather have my kids safe. Let them be kids. They don't need to be all up in this social media where they're just scrolling and not actually going outside and interacting with other kids.
Through the filters of the social media platforms. What we intend to do is to demand proper age verification. We have an app solution for it where you need to use your national electronic identification card. So hopefully it will be hard to circumvent.
we've seen a similar push with a country such as Australia. They passed the world's first law on this, and I know it's early, but have you learned anything from their attempts there to limit use as to how much this works and what can work best?
That's a good idea.
No, we don't have. We haven't seen any regulation pass through in Australia yet, as I am aware. But we intend to have focus on the social media platforms that cause us the most harm. So the ones that are the most addictive.
That's pretty
or the
much
ones
all
that
of them.
has the most harmful content, and that is what we will write the legislation upon.
Do you find it all, and I'm sure that many children will be upset by this law?
That's not a question you should be asking. That's irrelevant. Who cares what kids think? Kids don't know what's best for them. Come on now. Kids don't even want to eat vegetables. They don't even want to drink water. Kids want to do what kids want to do. We've all been kids before. We've all not liked what our parents instilled in us when it comes to eating proper and actually not being on video games all day or reading. Come on, like kids, what kind of question is that? We know kids aren't going to want this to happen. Come on.
They like their phones. But do you find that surprisingly any children might welcome this, right? Might experience some relief from not having access to some of these because they give an enormous amount of pressure, these social media apps.
That's true.
They do. Well, I think that many will. When we look at the numbers, the Danish numbers, there are most children think that they are spending too much time online. I just visited a high school, local high school today. We're having the EU presidency, so I'm in Jutland here in Denmark.
Yeah, that one particular high school that she went to or talked to, maybe they, as high schoolers, said that, or they said that just to go with the flow. But saying it and actually stopping yourself from being on social media and being on for hours. Listen, adults can't even control themselves on social media. What makes you think adolescents can? We're going to look at Austria and see what they have to say.
World first. It's the news that drew global attention,
Australia has now done something that no other country has been able to do.
but has proved divisive in Australia.
What a mess. What an absolute debacle.
But despite criticism from the Greens, the government is backing its world-first social media ban for under 16s aimed at reducing social media harms.
We cannot control the ocean, but we can police the sharks. And today we are making clear to the rest of the world how we intend to do this.
But many remain unconvinced.
Rather than policing the sharks, the government is just hoping that the kids don't jump in the water.
Well, as parents and as adults, we're supposed to be guiding kids to do the right thing, whether they like it or not. And for her to be against it, I'm not sure why, unless she's profiting off of kids being on social media. I'm not sure why you would even want your kids to be on social media like that at that age. Kids should be outside playing. They should have extracurricular activities. They should be doing other things than constantly on social media. Maybe
The
it's just me.
E-Safety Commissioner says platforms must comply with the new regulatory guidelines by December 10. Those who breach the rules could face fines of up to $50 million.
There may be a few who completely decide to do nothing just to test our resolve, and if that is what they plan to do, we will meet them with force.
Today's 55-page regulatory guidelines outlining some of the specifics, placing the onus on social media platforms to deactivate or remove existing underage accounts with clear care and communication, and prevent underage users from re-registering. Arguably most notable, what it's not asking. Platforms won't be required to age verify every user or retain personal data from age checks.
These social media platforms know an awful lot about us of our own volition, and if you have been on, for example, Facebook since 2009, then they know that you're over 16. There's no need to verify.
Others say it's not the only tool in the toolbox.
I don't think that parents want to use this as any kind of a security blanket. At the end of the day, kids will still encounter potentially harmful content online. That may not be on a social media platform, it may be on a web browser, but it could also be because they do kind of fool the system.
The e-Safety Commissioner will meet with a range of social media companies in Silicon Valley next week, including Apple, Discord, OpenAI, Google and Meta to
Well, that's pretty big that they're doing this in Europe. For me, maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm all for it. And hopefully this comes into the US. We implement this because it's already at a high rate that kids are suffering from social anxiety, depression. They are self-harming themselves at a higher rate. And come on, it has to coincide with, it definitely coincides with access to social media and being able to just live in fantasy world. And yeah, parents also have to take some account on that as well, but kids are going to be kids. So I hope that they do accomplish this in Denmark. Australia already has it implemented. Hopefully this comes to the US. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more of my videos. And I appreciate you guys. See you next time. Peace.